Hello, how you doing? Um, it's raining very hard outside. I heard a big thunder. I hope everybody's safe. Like cars went off and everything. Um, so yeah, today we're gonna continue with the next chapter. So it's gonna be chapter 3, but I'll recap on the last chapter. Hello to everyone joining, and thank you for joining. Um, Instagram is telling me hold on a second or two, but I'll just jump into it because they'll be recorded and posted as well. So again, we're reviewing Atomic Habits. To me, it's really vital for us to take care of our habits because it's gonna affect our mental health and our overall wellness, and just where we head in life and how we treat our family and friends, because certain things drain our energy and they really don't help us and they don't serve us and get into where we need to go. So I'm going to review what we talked about last time, the chapter summary. There are 3 levels of change: outcome change, process change, and identity change. The most important thing is to start with identity change, because outcomes could only last so long. And you could hit outcomes, but if you don't change internally, you're going to self-sabotage yourself and you're not going to be able to move forward. All right? And that's what it says. It says a few more things on how to develop your identity. Make sure if you have identity, you have small wins behind it, and you do what it's necessary to actually hit those goals. And just becoming the best version of yourself, you have to be willing to keep reestablishing your beliefs about yourself and just become the best version of you. So that's pretty much the different topics. And how to build better habits in 4 simple steps, right? So that's the chapter we're on. Chapter 3. So this is a feedback loop behind all human behavior. We try, we fail, and we learn to try it differently. Right? So in business and life and workouts, everything, we learn how to do things, and sometimes they don't work, and then we set up ourselves to hit that success. Right? So with practice, the useless movements fade away and the useful actions get reinforced. Okay? So we're going to get into what it really takes. So there's also a false dichotomy that people feel like they don't have time for certain things in their life, but if they create the right habits, they will become successful. And also they talk about when you have habits and routines, it sometimes becomes dull. Your life becomes dull. And that's not what it's about. It's not about it being dull. It's about that boredom. If you can get used to it, and it's not really boredom, because if you have a goal, incentives, things like that, you'll be able to produce more. But going through that, you'll create that success, right? So you gotta be okay with things not being always drama filled, right? You gotta just have those routines that are not so exciting, but help you produce the results you want, right? So they actually help you create freedom. Good habits. And if you don't, they actually take away your freedom. So if you want freedom, which I feel our soul craves for, it's really based on your habits. So he talks about there's 4 signals that we go through to create a habit. There's a cue, right? Things that activate our mind on wanting to do certain things. The craving, that is that feeling within us, the emotion to drive forward and do something more. Then the response is the actual habit. And then the reward. So that's the cycle we're going to go through. He actually has a nice drawn out picture. So I'll let you see. It's this, right? And that's a cycle you go through. And that's a cycle you want to learn how to master. So we'll start off with the cue. What is the cue? The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It's a bit of information that predicts a reward. Right? So you know you only have a certain amount of time to work out in a day, so if you don't work out, you won't get your workout in. But you know that cue is like, hey, I wake up at this time, I need to work out. Or it's lunchtime, I need to work out. Right? And you get this, and you know the reward is you're going to feel better, you're going to look good, and like even my shirt looks like really baggy today. I didn't realize how baggy it looked. But that's what happens when you're losing weight, right? So that's the cue. Now, the craving, or the second step, the motivational force behind every habit. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions of the observer are what transforms a cue to a craving. So I crave to work out. You know, my cue is that I have a certain amount of time and certain times of the day I work out. But my craving is that I want to be physically fit. I don't want to become a fat boy anymore. I was once many a times, for many years, and I don't want to be overweight, right? I want to be healthy for my family and my kids and to look good, right? Maybe that's a little selfish, but hey, I know when I feel good and look good, I treat people better and I treat myself better, right? So it's that inner craving, right? That's what you really need to know. So for a gambler, that the sounds of a slot machine may trigger that craving. So that may be the cue that then triggers the craving to then win, right? So then the third step is response. So first cue, craving, now response. The response is the actual habit you perform. The form of a thought or action being performed. A response occurs depends on how motivated you are and how much friction is associated with the behavior. If you have too much friction, if something is too hard, too physically or mentally hard, you're not going to do it. Right? Hey Steve, how you doing? Hey Curtis. Yeah, so you want to actually, your response is how motivated you are, how much friction. So if you have too much friction, it's going to be very hard for you to actually follow through. And then if you have too little friction, you may not even want to do it. So you also got to decide, can I do this thing? Do I have the ability? So the cue is about noticing the reward as well. That's where it originally starts. Then wanting that reward. The response is about obtaining the reward. So rewards, there's two types of rewards. They satisfy us and they teach us. So that's the two different purposes behind rewards. They satisfy us and teach us. So I'm just going to give an example he has in the book. The first purpose of rewards is to satisfy your craving. Yes, rewards provide benefits on their own. Food and water deliver the energy you need to survive. All right. Getting a promotion brings money and respect. Getting in shape provides your health and your dating prospects. It improves your health and your dating prospects. But the more immediate benefit is that rewards satisfy your craving to eat or gain status or win approval. So that's what rewards are. So your brain is a reward detector. And as you go about your life, your sensory nervous system is continuously monitoring which actions satisfy and your desires and deliver pleasure. I feel like this is the most crucial part, right? In the whole thing, you need to know your reward and feel rewarded, because if you actually don't want the reward, you're not going to follow through. If you don't feel satisfied after what you do, you're not going to keep following through. So feelings of pleasure and disappointment are part of the feedback loop that helps maintain brain distinguishment, useful actions from useless ones. So a lot of people are trying to break habits of smoking, overeating, things like that, right? Who's not? And well, maybe you have other habits that you're trying to break. Laziness, procrastination, scrolling on Instagram and Facebook when you're watching things that do not serve you. I hope this does serve you. So this is a good thing to watch. But what happens is you have to have some kind of disappointment when you do it. Because easily when I used to smoke and I stopped smoking, I used to rationalize why it was okay for me to smoke. I did this and that or this. Or why I overate. Hey, my wife's eating, she's pregnant, let me enjoy with her. Right? Things like that. And I had to have some sense of disappointment behind it for me to stop it, because if I didn't have a sense of disappointment behind it, it was like it was okay to do and I'll keep repeating it. Right? So I had to distinguish. And also, if you eliminate the cues to behaviors, they'll never even start. So reduce the craving and you won't even have enough motivation to act. And to me, so one example he talks about in the book is like with bread. I stop eating bread. We have a bread pan container. I put the bread in there. I can't stop my wife from eating bread, but I don't want to see it. If I see cookies out, I'm going to want to eat it. So I put it away. We have fruits on the top shelf of our refrigerator. That is the strawberries and fruits. So I eat and do good things. So all behavior is driven by a desire to solve problems. The problem is that you notice something good and you want to obtain it. So sometimes the problem is that you are experiencing pain and you want to relive it. You don't want to relive it. And either way, the purpose of every habit is to solve the problem you face. Right? So that's really what it comes down to. And I'm going to just focus on this last part. This is going to be the last piece of the talk. All right, this is page 54. How to create a good habit. The first thing you want to do is make it obvious. Like I said, I put the fruits and vegetables in certain places, so I make it obvious. To make it attractive, the fruits look really clean and nice. Make it easy, that it's right on the top shelf, or things like that. Make it very accessible for myself, and make it satisfying. I feel great after I eat fruits. Like, it tastes good, and I feel good. Now, how you could break a habit. So that's how you create a habit. How do you break a habit? Right? So to me, this is the most vital part. If you even just take these 30 seconds, what I just said, and now how to break a habit. All right? First, the cue. Make it invisible. I don't eat bread because I don't see it. Make it unattractive. I feel the weight on my stomach as soon as I eat bread, and I feel the bloatedness, the inflammation in my arms. My cheeks get redder. Even though they're already red, they become even more red. All right? Make it difficult. I hide it from myself. And I tell other people I'm not eating bread, so it makes it difficult for me to go back on my word. And then make it unsatisfying. Yeah, just those thoughts. I don't feel rewarded. I feel disappointed if I do it. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I have certain goals and things like that. And that's the biggest part of the system. You have your cue, your cue, your craving, your response, and your reward. And you want to figure out what step do you need work on and how to build habits upon that. So next is going to be how to use these laws to actually trigger what you want. Like saying you want to work out or meditate, we're going to want to be specific. We're going to want to figure out little terminologies to build these good habits. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say today. I hope you guys had a blessed day, and thank you for joining us, and we'll talk soon.